All right, thank you all for joining me. It's Corp J, and welcome to the channel that gives you a different spin on trending topics. Now, I do have a topic I want to talk to you guys about. It's something that's been trending, and it's something that is also dear to my heart. Afrobeats has continued to dominate globally. We continue to see Afrobeats dominate all over the world. And unless you've been living under a rock, you have heard of Afrobeats, you've jived to it, you vibe to it. And so we're seeing the continuous domination of Afrobeats when it comes to music genre. And so we're all very proud of Nigerians. We're all very proud of the Nigerian artists and what they've been able to do over the years with Afrobeats. And so most recently, Afrobeats was recognized at the BET Awards that just happened this past Sunday. Wizkid as well as Tems both won awards for their popular song Essence. And so congratulations to Big Wiz as well as Tems, who really did amazingly well with this song, and for just being in the industry for a little over 3 years. I think it's an amazing achievement for her to really be recognized and win awards on BET, to have such international recognition as she has gotten, and she truly deserves that. So congratulations to Tems for that. Also, in the night, we also saw, Fireboy DML perform on stage his popular and breakout song, Peru. So that's an amazing accomplishment, to really be on a stage like BET, and to be on that type of stage performing your song and putting Nigeria and Africa on the map is a huge accomplishment. So these guys are truly remarkable, and we are so proud of our men and women that are really doing this. So make no mistake about it, the success that Afrobeats is seeing today, and the success that these Nigerian artists are having today, is as a result of years of grinding. This just didn't happen overnight. You don't just become a breakout artist, last year and then be on the BET stage. That's not how that works. You have to have proven yourself. You have to really either come up with a good song, a really very popular song that went viral, to really have that type of recognition. And Afrobeat artists have really put in the work. And so to these artists, I say kudos to you. So Tems now joins the like of Burna Boy, Davido, and Wizkid, who have all won Grammys, and as well as won BET Awards in the past. So now she joins the likes of them. And so kudos to her, and kudos to all our artists for making such great songs. And so the whole world is proud of them. Really proud, because a win for Nigeria is a win for Africa. Period. Now, unfortunately, there are countries that are not happy about this. I talked about this a few months ago in a video of mine, and I'll link it in this video, of those few countries that are just not happy. They're vexing. They have an issue with the success Nigerian artists are having. One particular country, Ghana. But before I even go further, I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers, Nathan, for bringing to my attention some of what I'm going to be covering today. If you are a subscriber of mine, and you have a trending topic or something that's going on that you would like me to cover on this show, go ahead and email it to me. I'll take a look at it. If I feel like it's newsworthy and it fits into the type of things that I talk about on my platform, I'll certainly do that, and I'll give you a shout out as well. So just so you all know that. Okay, so let's talk about Ghana. Ghana seems to be a huge critic. For some reason, I don't get it. For some reason, Ghana just is hating on the success of Nigerian artists. I don't get it. I don't get it. You would think with the hate that Ghana is having, not all Ghanaians, by the way, most Ghanaians love Afrobeat, but you have artists like Shatta Wale and a few other vocal critics who seem to just really hate on Nigeria for the success they're having. You would think Nigeria was paying people off to be successful. You would think that Nigeria broke off BET to really put them on stage. That's not how that worked. Okay, they earned that place. They earned it. So I'm going to talk about on this video the differences between these two countries and why Nigerian music, the Afrobeats genre, created by Nigerians, has really taken off and has global recognition. And I'll talk about what's Ghanaian music, the differences between these two countries. Okay. But it is also fair to say that Ghana has beautiful songs. Okay. So Ghana, the artists in Ghana, artists like, Sakodi, Kitty, Miss V, Shatta Wale, Stoneboy, Kwame Eugene. These artists are great artists, and they are popular in their own rights. Now, when you compare the music that they put out against the Nigerian artists like Burna Boy, Wizkid, Tiwa Savage, Davido, Yemi Alade, Runtown, Techno, Kizz Daniels, which, by the way, I'm going to talk about Kizz Daniels. I have a special segment in this video for him and his new song, Buga. And I'm going to talk about that later on in this video, so stay tuned. Now, when you compare these two countries and these artists, there's a fundamental difference between these two. And I'm going to talk about it here. So let's get into it because I've got a lot to cover. Let's just get right into it. Okay. So one of the fundamental differences between these two artists is that Ghanaian artists are focused on making what I call FUBU music. Okay. FUBU music is for us by us type of music. Now, that is something that is far different from Nigerian artists. Nigerian artists are making music that is exclusively only for the consumption of Nigeria. And you know why that is? Because Nigerians focus on the business of music. Okay, the Ghanaian artists are mostly making music that I feel can only be related to by Ghanaians because a lot of their songs are in their local language, Tree. And so you find that a lot of their artists, these big artists that I've talked about, like for example, Sakodi, his biggest song, Adonai, that was not in English. That was a great song. Compared to the Nigerian artists, whose most songs are in English. They're broken English, pidgin English, but nonetheless, they're English. Because they are thinking about a mass market. They're focused on the business of music. Now, what is the business of music, you ask? The business of music is essentially where you incorporate politics as well as your culture in a way, when you package it in a way where it's appealing to a mass market of people. Okay, that is the business of music. It's something that many artists really kind of fail to do. They struggle with this. And Nigerian artists and Nigerian music industry has mastered that. So many of their songs are in English. You'll find some Nigerian artists who have done songs in their local language, in either Igbo or Yoruba. You'll find that. But most of their songs are in English because they need to have that exported out so others can really kind of connect with. That is not what you're seeing with a lot of the artists, with the Ghanaian artists. Their songs, most of their songs are in their language. Nothing wrong with that. We just can't have most of your music in your language. It's okay to have one or few of it so you can connect with your local people. But to have your music category mostly in your language is not going to have people connect with that because I don't sing Tree. I don't understand it. It's a beautiful language, but I don't understand it. So that's a huge factor, right? Another factor you will find is a lot of Nigerian artists, their song really showcases the culture of Nigeria. So, for example, you'll find like Burna Boy, his latest song, Last, really shows things that we all can connect with. I mean, who can connect with someone, a bunch of friends of yours hanging out, having heartbreaks and smoking? Who's not going to be able to connect with that? But on a serious note, many of Nigerian artists really kind of showcase the culture of Nigeria in its truest form. They highlight a lot of the things that most of us kind of grew up knowing. The stories they tell are things that we all can relate to. They don't have Western influence in their music. Okay, they're selling Nigeria and Africa to the world. So most of their choreographed scenes in their music videos really show these things. So many of us can really kind of relate to that. On the other hand, Ghanaian artists seem to have a lot of Western influence in their music. So you find rap in their song, you find that, and they also incorporate a lot of West Indies type of flavor. So you find reggae type of tone in their music. For example, these artists that I've mentioned, Sakudi and Kitty, these people have like a certain type of reggae type of vibe and tone and beats to their song. And you're not going to get anyone to connect with that. Nothing wrong with reggae. Reggae is a great music genre, but you don't own reggae. Reggae is not your thing. You're Africans. I don't know if you know this, but reggae it's Jamaican. They came up with that. That is their own originality. You're not going to be bigger than, Buju Banton. You're not going to be bigger than Spice in terms of that sense. So that is their thing. Just like also with rap, hip hop, it's a Western thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when we're talking about originality, when we're talking about having an African sound, there's a disconnect where you listen to an African music and you see a lot of the Western rap song and hip hop. That's going to disconnect, because you're not going to do that better than the originators of that. You're not going to rap better than Jay-Z. You're not. You're not going to rap better than these guys. These guys own that, and that's their thing. So I do understand that some it's also important to really infuse a little bit of an element of other cultures into that, because it shows that you're trying to pull in those audience. So that's okay to do, but you can't have your entire song and the theme of your song, and every time you put out a song, it just always seems to have these elements on and on and on, because you're not seeing the same thing with hip hop. Hip hop isn't just on and on and on, incorporating African song in it. They might collaborate once in a while, but they're not. That's not the point of it. So you have to find your style. You have to find your own voice, and I think that's where Ghana is lacking. Ghana is lacking on the aspect of not being able to find its own originality, being authentic in his own true form, and really stand on his own culture. So you need to find a way to really sell Ghana to the world. Okay, I think the world appreciates Afrobeats because it's selling Africa to the world. It's not trying to be something that is not. It's not trying to be, the Western world. Many of the African consumers don't want that in their song. Again, nothing wrong with all the Western world, but you got to be original, right? So that's a huge, huge disconnect to me in terms of the way the music is done. Another huge disconnect is the fact that, you find the criticism that you get from like Shatta Wale, who's in the past has said that Nigerians have not been promoting Ghana, but Ghana has been promoting Nigeria. Okay, so let's deal with that, because that's one of the criticisms that Shatta Wale has had in the past against Nigeria. So that is obviously not true, because when you think of these artists, Nigerian artists, and I followed these artists for a long time. Davido has gone to Ghana to promote himself. Burna Boy has gone to Ghana to promote himself. Wizkid has been to Ghana several times. This is just not one time. These people have been there several times to do concerts. They've gone to the clubs. They've had promotions in those countries, as well as in other countries. So they've extended themselves. So as an artist, you're going to have to leave your country. You have to go to other countries to promote yourself. You have to go to your neighboring countries to really kind of sell your art, sell your music, let your citizens and your locals see who they are. So the reason why a lot of Ghanaians have bought into Nigerian artists is because most of these artists go to those countries to really promote themselves, to brand themselves. On the reverse, Ghanaian artists are now coming to Nigeria to do that. Shatta Wale has not been to Nigeria to promote himself. You don't find, Sakodi in Nigeria promoting himself. You don't find Miss V, Jackie, Kitty, Kwame Eugene. These people are not in Nigeria promoting themselves. So how are Nigerians supposed to know that? How are they supposed to know your music? Okay. And Nigeria is the largest market, by the way, when it comes to entertainment. Nigeria market is the largest market in Africa when it comes to movies and music. So the fact that you're not capitalizing on that and making yourself seen in that country and really kind of branding yourself, no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it, right? Because that's work on your part as an artist. You're going to have to get out of your country and really go to the largest market in your continent and really promote yourself, right? And so for Shatta Wale to say that, it's because a lot of Ghanaians know of Nigerians because they see these people in their countries promoting themselves and all of that. So that's what Ghanaian artists are going to have to do. There's another criticism that Shatta Wale has had in the past, which is that, and I've even had him and Stonebwoy say the same thing, that the size of Nigeria is what's giving Nigeria its leverage. So again, these are all excuses, okay? The fact that Nigeria is 200 million people and you are 30 million has nothing to do with it. Because if we have to use that, then I would say that why is China, if you use that, okay, for example, when you think of the movie industry, Nollywood, which is Nigerian's movie industry, is the third largest in the world behind Bollywood and behind Hollywood, okay? That these other countries are larger than Nigeria by far, but Nigeria beats China, so the cinema of China, an industry of 1 point something billion people isn't trending as the top 3. So you can't use that, right? You can't use the size of a country as an excuse to the reason why, the country is successful. That's not it. The reason why these guys are successful is because they produce great music and they understand the business behind music. And I think your artists have not understood the business of music. They're not making music that is a consumption for the masses, something that other people can enjoy. They're making music for themselves, and that's not going to work. Okay, so that's what I would say. Because when you hear someone like Shatta Wale go on and on and on, who, by the way, has for years had it in for Nigerian artists, and I don't get his problem, because Shatta Wale again is an example of that person that I talked about, which he's missed the mark in terms of, being original, right? No, I won't take away from his success. Kudos to him and his success. But when I look at Shatta Wale, I don't see an African. I don't see someone that I can connect with and say this person is, he has the whole look and make of a Jamaican, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're an African trying to sell music and a product for people within your continent, as well as people outside of your continent to enjoy, you're going to have to be original. You're going to have to be original. And so you're not going to take the spot of Buju Banton, because that's what I see when I see him, and he's got all that whole thing going, and that to me, and so that's the disconnect. So while he's been successful, I think that there's a huge disconnect in terms of the originality. That's my take on it. All right. But he's had some success, not some, but he's had a lot of success. And recently, when I mean recently, I'm talking about in 2021, he sold out. Had the biggest concert, his biggest concert to date, at the largest stadium in Ghana. Sold that whole thing out. And that was a huge accomplishment. Because it silenced a lot of his critics who said that he was not going to be able to fill out the entire place without having a Nigerian artist, on the billboard with him. And so that was a huge accomplishment for Shatta Wale to really be able to silence a lot of his critics by really selling that whole thing out and having a success with that. So kudos to him. Now, that being said, that night, he never failed to use that as an opportunity to take a dig at Nigerians, and that's what I'm talking about. So take a listen to what he said at that concert of his back in 2021. So you see what I'm saying? It is the type of rhetoric, and Shatta Wale has done this. It's almost as if that I don't think I know Shatta Wale for any song that he's put out. I couldn't sit up here just like I know about Jackie and know about Kwame Eugene and all of these people and their songs. I don't know of any song that Shatta Wale has done that resonated with me. Most of the time I hear him is usually when he rants and talks about these types of things. It's Nigerians' fault. It's Nigerian artists. Nigerian artists ain't on pushing Ghanaian artists. That's why Ghanaians are not successful. That's ridiculous. See how ridiculous that sounds? Now, most recently, I will tell you that he's also had it in now for Ghanaians and Ghanaian artists. His recent tweet, when I mean recent, I'm talking about in April. He says that Ghanaian music is a shame. That's what he said. Here's a tweet of Shatta Wale really kind of taking a dig at Ghanaians and Ghanaian artists. So please, can we just respect Nigerians for their hard work and stop comparing our lazy lifestyles to theirs? It's shame people think Nigeria will come hard for me, but see that they are the ones doing the streaming because they understand what talent means. Ghana music is a shame. So I don't get it. So 1 minute he's bashing Nigerian artists, next minute he's praising Nigerian artists and recognizing them for their hard work and the talent that they put in. So I don't get where I put him. I don't know what's going on. So maybe you Ghanaians can tell me what's the deal with Shatta Wale, because if I were you, I'll tell him to take a seat because he's making you guys look bad. So that's what I would say is that Ghana needs to really focus on, while they're focused on music, they need to focus on the business of music and really be more relatable. This fighting and attacking Nigeria is not going to work. Okay? Attacking Nigeria is not going to work. You whining and crying because you're not in a song or somehow you're not trending. It's not a fault of Nigeria. It's a fault of yours. You're just going to have to take that as a feedback and really begin to do something much more than what you're currently doing. Okay, so let's talk about Kizz Daniels. So Kizz Daniels' song Buga has been trending all over the internet. It's his most recent song that he just dropped, collaborating with Techno. Another amazing song. This song was well choreographed, and the messaging in the song is that of inclusivity. The whole choreography around the song is based on a carnival where he infuses he showcases and highlights different countries through their flags It's just a great message behind Buga. Buga, to me, I see this as a theme song for the FIFA World Cup. The World Cup coming up, I see this as a theme song. I'm not sure if this was a strategy that they thought of, a foresight or something that they, put in place to just sort of be considered for the World Cup. But I'll be hard pressed if this song isn't played in the World Cup. It should be played in the World Cup as a theme song because it obviously has all the feel for it. And to include other countries in that it goes with everything that Nigerians are. Okay, Nigerians are all about inclusivity. These artists over the years are all about partnering, collaborating, including others. So this idea of people hating on them, which Ghana, by the way, again in this song, was hating on this song. A lot of people on Twitter were going on and on about how Ghana's flag was not represented in the song and all of that. Everybody else was, but theirs was not. This is Ghana's flag right here. I don't get it. So Ghana to me is starting to appear to be an agitator, someone that just likes to create issues where there isn't any issue. I don't get it because once upon a time, by the way, Ghana music, high life was a huge thing back in Africa, back in the days, back in the 30s, 1930s, 1940. Ghana's song was dominating Africa. Nigerians supported that. I don't know if you guys know this. Nigerians supported that. They rallied around that. This is historically documented. So to have Nigeria now in the spotlight and have Afrobeat in the spotlight and Ghana is somehow not supporting Nigeria is a petty and childish behavior. It's not good sportsmanship. That is just ridiculous to me. But you're not going to stop it because most people in the world have bought into Afrobeats. It's taken off, and Afrobeats to me, I'm going to predict that you're going to start seeing or hearing movie soundtrack by large studio heads in movies. If it hasn't already been put in there, you're going to start seeing that. We already know that Davido was in Coming to America, the sequel of that. You're starting to see a lot of the artists being put in these movies. You're going to start hearing a lot of these Afrobeat sounds as soundtrack in movies. And what that's going to do is that it's going to open doors for studio heads and large studios to begin producing movies in Nigeria. So this thing has already gone big and global. And so to start attacking Nigeria and fighting Nigeria, you're already losing the battle and you're going to lose in this thing because it doesn't show good sportsmanship. It doesn't show that, and that's something you find with a lot of people. See, when you think of Nigerians are peace-loving people. Nigerians, you're not going to hear of Nigerians, practicing xenophobia on anybody. You're not going to hear it. Okay. In Nigeria, you've never heard of xenophobia. Nigerians attacking Indians or attacking Chinese who have a huge presence in Nigeria. You've never heard it. But you hear about these countries, Ghana, South Africa, attacking Nigerians in their countries. And Nigerians don't attack these people in their own countries. You never hear of those things. You find Nigerians being attacked even in the West. And for some reason, people like to dump on Nigerians for their success. And Nigerians just don't fight back. But make no mistake about it. The fact that we don't fight back, the fact that Nigerians are loving, peaceful people, don't mean that they're cowards. They're not cowards. They just choose not to fight back, not to respond with violence. So a lot of these countries would take their turns in just dumping on Nigerians, while Nigerians just sit back and just let their work speak for themselves. Which is why many people, around the world, when they think of Nigerians, they don't think of violence. Many people, most people aren't like, watching themselves and clinging to their bags and their purse when they're around Nigerians. They're not, because Nigerians are mostly loving people. They just win in other things. They win with their work. They win with their craft. They win with their talent. and they show the world that they're winners with their brains and with all of this. Don't make no mistake about it. You know, just because they don't fight back in terms of violence, don't mean that they're cowards. Don't mean they're cowards. You know, they'll defend themselves when they need to do that. But they just don't go on and on hating on other people. For some reason, people just seem to hate all Nigerians. And the world is taking notice. And people love people that are non-violent. People love people that are peace-loving people. You know, so you find even Buga in the song. You find Kizz Daniels really showcasing flags of different countries, and Cameroon most especially. You know, the flag of Cameroon is what you're looking at right now, being showcased by Mr. Funny. You know, and Cameroon was one of those big critics of Nigeria, but it didn't stop Kizz Daniels and Techno from really showcasing and highlighting Cameroon and giving them really giving them a shout out in their music, which they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do all of that. So I think that countries like Ghana, who are really being silly and attacking Nigerian artists for their success, is just being petty. You know, you're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to brand yourself. You're gonna have to find your own voice. You're going to have to really do the work. And if you continue to attack your largest market in Africa, you're only going to do that at your demise and at your own detriment, because it's not going to force its citizens to begin singing and playing your songs all of a sudden, because they're going to remember that. All right. So thank you all for watching. Please do like this video, share the content, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all next time.
Det finns ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för dig, baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. På det jag lägger av min tid, jag vill ha dig. Du får mig känna safety.